I don't know why that is, but in the top left of our map, I don't have a special nickname for him, but he plays a mighty fine Protoss. It is KT Rollster Zest.
I think GSL Champion's a pretty good nickname for anyone, really. Could
The
probably
Royal
just go with
Roader
that.
himself. Yeah,
Indeed.
it's like I've been hemming and hawing with like calling him the perfect Protoss because he has like a decent amount of perfect games where I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this you just can't have played this better. It was so nice, but
Blizzard
can't
called
quite
him the
give that to
Kingslayer,
anyone.
oddly enough. That was what they called him in the article for his GSL Championship, based on the number of legends he took down in the process. That said, there have been a couple of other players that have also been called the Kingslayer. In fact, several of them being Protoss as well, so it's a bit of an overused name by this point.
Even Claris is called the Kingslayer, so due to his haircut more than
Indeed,
anything.
I'm
I
trying
guess.
to think of the last thing that Kaleris slayed.
he's slayed he slayed the last cast he did, no doubt. Well, here we are, Reaper opening here for Byung.
Yep.
And Zest just with a double gas. We'll have to see what he goes for. You think it might be an Oracle?
It very well could be. It's usually a fairly safe bet against a Terran player in most circumstances. We've talked about this exposed natural, man. You know, it's very, very dangerous for anyone to really mine there. They should be getting hazard pay for mining from those minerals, I'll tell you that for a fact. I can't imagine any SCV wants to do that. But for an Oracle pilot, they just come in, they dice up a few SCVs, and then they just dash out again. Huge amount of void space over to the back there, and escaping with an Oracle is so easy.
It really is, and that's one of the reasons I really like Oracle on this map, but we'll see what Zest wants to do. He is getting his mothership core and a Stalker out first, and of course that'll help to drive out any scouts that come in, such as this Reaper up on the side, and then he can choose which tech he wants to go for.
Alright, let's see how long Byung can keep this alive. I can't imagine Zest is going to let him have a single kill. No doubt about that. He is forced out. He may be able to dip back in later, however. Twilight Council again here for Zest, so we will not see Stargate. We may very well see Blink again.
Yeah, in fact, I think this is going to be an extremely aggressive one that we're going to see. We'll see if Byung can actually get a scout out on it. Kind of interesting, the strats that Zest is going for. He's decided to play today very aggressively.
Yeah, he's playing no nonsense. He wants it over with as quickly as possible. He wants to execute his opponents just as fast as he possibly can. He doesn't want to drag things out. And considering the caliber of play that he's going to have to go up against in the round of 4, if he makes it there, I don't necessarily blame him. I also like the idea that he would be using very similar builds and keeping some of his toolbox away for both, of course, the round of 8 of GSL and, of course, for the round of 4 of Sandisk SHOUTcraft, which will be best of 7, where you really need to bring everything to the table.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that he might play against Flash, his own teammate, you know, may as
Yeah.
well just show Blink all-ins. It'll throw Flash off a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, it could very well happen. We may see that. If Zest goes through in second place in this group, which, to be fair, if Game 1's anything to go by, I don't see happening, but if he goes through in second place, then he will face Flash.
Well, we'll see about that. DRG is looking good, so could be the case.
Yep.
Now, Zest trying to get out with this Mothership Core, but we have a nice flank here from Byung. He really wants to kill this off, but I don't know if he's going to be able to.
I don't think so. Not by the looks of it. Zest would have to make an uncharacteristic mistake. It is kind of annoying for the Mothership Core to be jammed into that corner. He can leave, but look at the positioning on this Widow Mine. This is like a sheepdog right here, just trying to get these sheep into the pen. And I don't know if Zest will fall for it. It's a bit of a gamble there from Byung, but he's keeping this Mothership Core back. But look at that. It's a proxy Dark Shrine from Zest. It is not a Blink build. Actually, it's a Blink build and a Dark Shrine. It's Protoss.
He really wants to end this one quickly. So he is going to start busting down these rocks. Soon enough, we will see DTs warped in. And the last thing that you're thinking about defending against when Blink Stalkers are trying to kill you is
DTs.
cloaked units. So kind of a smart move here by Zest, although very, very all in. He's really got to do some damage here.
Yep, and Byung is actually going for the drop, and there's a Widow Mine going down into that natural. Where is that Mothership core? It's, of course, attacking. So Byung is in the base of his opponent, but Zest blinks right in and kills the Widow Mine immediately, stops the bunker from going up.
That is so painful. Zest can start blanking his Stalkers now. During this stack, he's killing off so many SCVs, all these units as well. And this is kind of a crazy situation. He's still losing everything at home also.
Yeah, he didn't quite have his Dark Shrine up. I mean, warping in a defensive DT pretty much game overs that drop. Zest actually looking for the surround, but Byung with a quick pickup here. Can Byung hold on? This tank comes up and gets picked off. That's not what you want at all. If he could get that set up, that would be a different matter entirely. He did save his command center. He has 17 workers left. Zest lost quite a few as well, and this drop does continue, although not with many units.
Well, as soon as a DT warps in, I don't know what Byung is going to do. The DT Shrine is done, but we don't see that DT coming in. It looks like he has decided he can just win with Blink Stalkers, and you know what? I think he's actually right about that.
Yep, it's 4 workers to 16 at the moment. The drop is not dead, but it's kind of getting that way. But Byung doesn't really have much left to defend this. He is getting another tank out, though. And the DPS is going to be good. It spawns right on top of the Stalkers, which is not where you want to go because the blink is just so good here from Zest. Brilliant control here. More Marines come out. No Marauder, though. So this is really rough, especially with blink. Every unit counts here. But let's be frank. It's mules versus an actual economy. The drop is still going on, but there's only 1 Marine and a Widow Mine in it.
Yeah, and that's not quite enough, especially against this defensive Dark Templar. You know, the Blink Stalker and the Zealot are actually a little bit more scary than that. Byung can barely produce anything. 11 supply to 22. Zest doubling Byung's supply.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
How
some crazy
brutal
supplies.
is this? Like, this looked so one-sided, which you certainly do not expect, but there's a reason why Zest is a champion. There's no doubt about that. He is that good.
Byung may be one day, but Zest chose a very good build for this situation, and you know, it worked out well. The DT turned out to be a defensive tool, and it's done a good job. It's kept his mineral line alive and kept him in this game.
What a crazy, crazy game so far. It's 12 minutes in, and it's 15 supply versus 23. Byung is going in with 2 Hellions.
Well, 2 Hellions, those could definitely make a difference here. There's not a lot of units there. Just the Dark Templar. If he can dodge that, well, now a Stalker does come out, so that's going to make it a bit harder. But
yeah,
let's see if he can get anything.
Oh, Widow Mine goes off, but again, just doesn't quite get that massive jackpot hit that would have been needed to even think about equalizing. Another Widow Mine goes off, and actually one is going... No, oh, Zest trying to bait that out with the blink, doesn't get it. There is a Banshee from Byung here.
Yeah, there's a Banshee, a Hellion, a Medevac, and 3 Widow Mines. That's his entire supply. He has no SCVs anymore.
No, he does not. Rough. Although he does have mules, so he can build them. That's the advantage, I suppose, of being Terran. The Banshee is there, but EGG's. Another warp in his Stalkers finishes it off. Holy crap, Zest is the real deal. Even Byung.
That was crushing, man. That was, like, really crushing. I'm actually, like... It's weird because the games today are very one-sided, whereas yesterday, like, everything was a hard-fought battle. But maybe that means that we're just going to see, like, DRG and Zest really battle for first place in this group.
That would be incredible. It would be absolutely amazing to watch. But, yeah, like you said, 2 fairly one-sided series up to this point. And I wouldn't necessarily have expected either of them to go that way. I felt that those opening matches were fairly well-balanced. And as it turns out, nope. Not even close.
Not this morning, at least.
No.
Zest just being so aggressive overall, and actually Liquid HerO being really aggressive as well, but it's not really working out for HerO, whereas Zest just made everything work out perfectly for him, even when he got scouted.
Oh, man. That was a very, very crazy end to that. You know, every unit mattered. I was hoping to see that one jackpot shot with the Widow Mine that did equalize the economy up to the point where we wouldn't have seen 3 Stalker Warpins at a time, and that Banshee would have done the job.
Yeah.
But it never happened. Zest never allowed it to happen. He knew the Widow Mines were there. It was always one probe, one probe, one probe every time. He kept on top of everything, which, I mean, the amount of multitasking required, especially if you looked at his micro inside of Byung's base, that was mind-blowing.
Protosses have gotten really, really good at dealing with Widow Mines. You know, there was definitely a point in time where that Widow Mine drop would have killed a lot more probes and maybe even made that into some sort of crazy, almost draw scenario. But unfortunately, that is not today. That is not the present time when you see, like, the fact that the Widow Mine is in the middle of the minerals and it still kills just one probe, I'm like, what?
Shouldn't happen, man.
How do you do this, Zest? Come on.
Give us back that shredder that they had.
Yes,
give
us
alpha.
back the shredder. That's a great idea, Totalbiscuit. I would pay to see a season of Code S with the shredder.
Oh man, I can think of some amazing combos. If they left the Widow Mine in, here's what you do. You drop one shredder in the mineral line, yeah? And you put one Widow Mine on either side. So as the probes run away from the shredder, boom. So good.
Oh my god, you just broke this game that doesn't exist.
I'm very, very glad.
I would totally be a Terran play with shredders and Widow Mines.
I'll dream of that tonight, I tell you. That would be such an incredible, incredible game. And I'm kind of glad that I don't balance it, because I'd like to do things like that to it. So, yep, there's a reason why I just cast and don't talk about balance. But so far, the balance of this group, the balance of power in this group, is in the hands of two very great players. Dongray Gu and Zest will be going at it in a ZVP. And that will be, of course, the next matchup. Another best of three. Can Zest dominate this group as well, just as he has with many groups before? Or will DRG say, look, experience matters. I've been around for a long time, and I'm not going anywhere. I have this Nest T award. This was not given to me by accident. This is going to be a real fight. I hope he can. I really do. Zest is very impressive, but I don't think anyone necessarily wants to see him flatten the group that quickly.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people probably think he will, but I think DRG is going to put up a very good fight. Like, I think Zest is going to take it, but I think it's going to be a 2-1, to be honest. Like, I think it'll be reasonably close.
Very well could be. We're going to take a quick break, folks. When we come back, it will be the winner's match. Who will go through to the round of 4 to face off? It will, in fact, in first place, of course, to be to face off against CJ HerO on day 3. We'll find out after the break. Don't go anywhere.
I suck at Call of Duty. You suck. You suck. You suck. I try to run and gun, yeah, MP5 or UMP. But every corner that I turn, somebody's shanking me. I switch over to NoobTube, RPG, and Semtex class. But I spend most of the game exploding my own stupid ass. They tell me I'm as useless as a stripper with no booty. My friend, I'm inclined to agree, 'cause I suck. You suck. I suck at Call of Duty. I suck at Call of Duty. You suck. You suck. last night done overgrown. No scope, quick scope, not a clue. Dying's all I ever do. Yeah, I certainly ain't Chris. I tried camping in a corner with the Claymore and my Rangers, but my hands start shaking and my brain starts aching at the very first sign of danger. I can noob tube, tack knife, M16, red dot, it's all the same. I'll still go minus 50 kills in every freaking game. They tell me I'm as useless as a stripper with no booty. My friend, I'm inclined to agree, cause I suck. You suck. I suck at Call of Duty. There's no hope for me. I suck at Call of Duty. I suck at Call of Duty. There's no hope for me. I suck at Call of Duty.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sandisk SHOUTcraft Invitational, and so far, in comparison to yesterday, these games are going a hell of a lot quicker.
Yeah, at this rate, we're not going to be here much longer, but maybe the cheese is going to back off for a little bit. Maybe we're going to see some longer macro games. You know, it's hard to imagine Zest or DRG killing each other too fast.
No, DRG is a very, very resilient player. Doesn't die very easily, ever, in any circumstances. So, there are, of course, some things that Zest could do that would break him early, but he seems like the kind of player that would be more resilient to such things.
Yeah, so I'm hoping for a good series here. I think that we're going to see a good series, and I'm really interested in how Zest is going to play, because he just made the GSL Code S round of 8 last night, and he's actually on the side with 3 Zergs. So PvZ is the most important matchup for him right now. And, you know, of course, since he's against 3 Zergs over on that side, we'll probably see, like, some pieces of builds he's going to do, but he's definitely going to have to switch it up a lot so he doesn't give too much away.
Oh yeah, because those players will be looking at this tournament in particular. And frankly, it's extremely unusual for a Kesper player, particularly a Kesper champion, to be playing in a tournament like this when they're still competing in both GSL and Pro League. It's actually a radical departure for a couple of these teams and players to come and do something like this. And of course, we're very grateful for that because we're seeing incredible games. But it could leave just a small little gap in the armor. So I hope Zest has come prepared for this. Dongregu no doubt has. He right now has nothing to lose, and he wants to prove everything, that he is very much still relevant. And so far, he's been doing that pretty well. So, let's see if he can do it here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to King Sejong Station. Once again, it seems like only yesterday that we were just here. To the northwest position, in the red trunks. He beat Liquid HerO very convincingly. Can he do it again to another Protoss player? We're gonna find out. He plays Zerg. He is the final boss. The one true Dong. MVP, Dongregu.
And his opponent, down in the bottom right, the Royal Roader, just won't lose no matter what you do. How many turns is he going to win in a row? Who knows? It is KT Rollster Zest.
If it keeps going on like this, could very well be 3. If his plays are anything like this and the rest of it. But, you know, there's still a hard road to go.
Dude,
he started off dominant. I'll give him that.
Yeah, and he might take this whole tournament. It's definitely a possibility.
Oh, yeah. But he's got best of 7s ahead of him.
Well, best of 7, you really have to prove yourself. He has done that. Excuse me, he has done that before, but it's always been really close. So, we'll see. It's a stacked tournament. By the way, I don't know if you got to catch it, but during the interview section last night at the beginning of GSL, You know, Zest was joking. He was saying he was actually watching SHOUTcraft yesterday, and he watched Innovation's games, and he was like, "I'm not afraid of you."
Wow.
After watching that, so definitely his opponents will be watching this, so he's got to be careful with which strats he uses here. And he does start off with kind of a cannon rush.
Yeah, he throws the pylon down straight into the mineral line itself, which is an interesting spot to put it. You know, but more often than not, you put it in a position where it's less easy to surround. And now there's a very weird standoff where Dongregyu just has 2 drones kind of sitting there saying, "What is that? What's it for? What are you going to do with it?"
Well, you know, I think he wants to cannon rush, or he did want to cannon rush. It's just he's not going to be able to because those drones did slow things down. The lings are out.
Yep. It's not
But
gonna
he's
happen.
already started his nexus, so, you know, this is kind of the to and fro of cannon rushes that we see all the time nowadays.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I can just imagine DRG's face when he saw that. He just raises one eyebrow and gets right back on with the drone building. He is absolutely stone cold. He's not going to be rattled by that.
No. Well, DRG going to be taking a third base, no doubt about it. Always loves to do that right away. You know, he really got known as one of the first big macro Zergs. In fact, DRG, you know, you gotta pay him homage. He's one of these Zergs that changed the race more than anybody. Really, I think only you can mention, like, Nestea and Fruit Dealer in the same breath as DRG for what they've done for the Zerg race.
Yeah, I remember when he first came to America, I believe the comment that you made at the time was, "MLG, what are you doing? You have unleashed a monster into the United States." And I think he did disappoint a little on his first appearance, but subsequent appearances, absolutely not.
Well, I guess he got to get used to the traveling, but
Yeah.
overall, you know, this guy has just dominated. How many tournaments did you say he won? Like, did he go to...
He's won
like
a
12
few,
or
but
something?
yeah, he's been in 12 finals. That was the
Jeez.
stat that I saw there. He actually
Yeah.
has a lot of second places. In fact, he was one of the prominent members, and kind of still is, of the Kong line.
Yeah. Him and, of course, one of his old rivals, Marine King. And
Indeed.
we've seen quite a few of those in StarCraft, too. And someone you know very well, Alicia.
Yeah,
That's
very
for
much
sure.
so. Yeah, we keep ribbing him about that. We never let it go.
Poor guy.
Yeah,
As
I'm
if
sure he'll
second
cry
place
into his
isn't
pile of money.
amazing. Yeah. Well, it looks like a Stargate here from Zest.
Yep.
A very familiar placement that we've seen from him in the past, even. Will it be Phoenix? And indeed it will be.
Alright. That seems reasonable. Nothing too crazy out of Zest at the moment. Get some map control, kill some overlords, and then perhaps a little bit of harassment. The question is, where does it go from here? Well, the answer is in the Robo facility.
Well, yeah, this is kind of interesting because last night he actually did a really cool build where he went for 4 Phoenixes, and then he was getting +1 and a Warp Prism. And what he did was he flew over with the Warp Prism and made like 18 Zealots, and just like tried to kill Sulky in that game like that. And it was really neat. It was actually set up very much like what we're seeing here. And he even expanded to the right-hand side as his third base as opposed to the left that we normally see. So we might be seeing the same build that he used last night against Sulky, which shows us he's taken DRG really seriously if he's using the same strat he used against Sulky and Code S.
Well, there's the 4th one coming up here. If we see a Warp Prism coming directly out of that, it is. There we go. 3 gates to follow that up as well. So the Warp Prism with the Phoenix air support and most likely a Zealot Warp, and it's going to be with +1 as well, which is great. Spore Crawlers are coming down here for DRG. Of course, he doesn't want the Phoenixes to do too much, but he needs to think maybe not about spores, but potentially even about spines. But the thing is, he does have a Roach Warren on the way up, so perhaps he'll be okay.
Yeah, that's really what he needs. Now, it looks like Zest, even though he got that Warp Prism, and in fact he is flying it over, it went over a couple Zerglings. So I don't know that this is going to be as effective if DRG notice.
Yeah, he actually warped in and cancelled in the middle of the map there, which was interesting. Seeing indecisiveness from Zest is just, that's completely alien. So that's a little bit weird. DRG maybe seems to sniff out what this is, but he will need units to fight it, I'm afraid. 4 Zerglings will not be enough.
Well, the Warp Prism went to the main base. Not warping in quite yet here. Looks like he is trying to secure his third base down in the normal position. But is he going to use that Warp Prism, or is he just using it to force some units? That's a strategy we've seen a lot from Protosses in the past.
You know, I don't know much about Brood War, but the one thing that I did hear a lot from Crank, who will talk about Brood War till the end of days if you let him, was about the Bisu build in Brood War.
Yes.
The idea of using the Corsairs to clear out the Overlords, and then using the DTs. Now, of course, in StarCraft 2, an Overlord doesn't spot stealth units, but if you use Phoenixes to clear the Overlords out of the way, you can do a lot with a Warp Prism, even if it's just the threat of one, because as soon as a Phoenix pops out, what does DRG do? He pulls all these Overlords back out of the way. So it just seems like it's kind of an old build made new again.
Yeah, you know, they are like peas and carrots like that.
Yeah.
It's very much something that Bisu, who revolutionized Protoss, used a lot, and we do see Zest trying out here. He does have this Warping of Zealots in that main base, going to town on these drones.
Yeah, and they're +1. They're going to do really, really well. The Spire is actually getting focused down here. There are a lot of Lings coming in, but he's going to have to get a better surround than that. The Warp Prism's still here as well to provide reinforcements. So the Spire is under threat. The Mineral Line is under threat. So far, DRG hasn't taken a huge amount of damage. He is bringing more Roaches into the fray, so he should be able to deflect it, but the Spire is taking damage. Is there any Transfuse energy? Spire currently on 40 HP and falling, and the Spire goes down.
Ooh, that's painful. At least he got 7 Corruptors out, but to lose your Spire right now is brutal, especially when you're DRG, who just loves his Mutalisk tech switches.
Yep, and he's immediately now going into Infestation Pit and Hydralisk, an obvious adaptation to what he was going to do. If you look at his upgrades, of course, more likely just more of a Ling style with the Mutas for harassment.
Yeah.
Well, he can't do that now.
I think you're quite right about that, but DRG is definitely someone who can flex and bend to whatever's happening in the game, so
certainly.
We'll see what he can make happen with this new strat. In the meantime, Zest playing a pretty standard normal game. You know, he's getting out some Immortals, he's getting Blink and +2. Only 1 Colossus at the moment. I think, you know, this is something that he actually used last night against Sulky as well, which is a single Colossus to bait out a bunch of Corruptors. But against 1 Colossus, you really don't even want 1 Corruptor. You want to just overpower.
12.5-minute hive here from DRG. Talk about some adaptation, some crazy stuff going on. He also picked up the Warp Prism in the corner, which is great, because it was in prime position to harass that 4th base. That's not going to happen anymore. And a decent amount of economic damage has been done to DRG, and it's forced him to build more drones. But he's back up to 82, even after losing 19 to the forces of Zest. He has active units out on the map. He's a bit supply blocked. He lost some Overlords there, as is to be expected. But Zest, we've been focusing mostly on DRG's base. In the background, Zest has been teching. He's been getting those key techs out, the Colossus, the Blink in there as well. He doesn't have a huge army yet, but he's starting to get those power units, and the last thing you want to be is on Roaches against something like that.
For sure. Well, right now those Roaches are pounding up these rocks, but Zest has come around to try to trap them here, and his army just superior. A nice pylon going up by Zest here, making a wall, and he's going to be able to just eliminate all these units basically for free.
Yeah, and they are Roaches, so they're not the most valuable thing in the world, but DRG didn't want to lose them, and he is going to, unfortunately. So that happened. And it puts DRG in a position where his army's smaller than he would have liked it. And the kind of firepower that you need at the front to deal with Colossus, and more to the point, tank the Colossus damage isn't there. But strangely enough, Zest... Oh, another Warp Prism goes down. Nice snipe there by DRG. Strangely enough, we only have a single Colossus out right now for Zest. So actually, this Hydra Heavy Force for DRG, especially considering there's some Corruptors in the mix there for good measure, it's probably going to do all right.
Yeah, it probably will, actually, but he definitely needs some more supply. It's actually very good that he sniped that Warp Prism, or this attack may have already occurred, and it would have been hard with just 16 Hydras to hold it off, but now he's getting some more units, and Zest is having to retreat for now, and he's going to have to actually start Colossus production. He's not going to be able to stop all this with just Blink Stalkers.
No. Zest, of course, looking solid, but he has lost 2 Warp Prisms in this game. Right? DRG has been extremely active. His economy is really good. He got his 4th base up really fast. He's even trying to get a 5th up. His creep spread's not incredible, but it's where it needs to be for defensive purposes at any rate. And he's menacing now on the map. He has a good economy. He's building a bank up. And if anyone thought that DRG was not a match for the current GSL champion, well, I think you might be mistaken there. He's not too shabby at all. Void Ray gets caught out of position. Colossus gets pulled in as well, but the double time warp means that is going to cost DRG a lot.
That is quite brutal indeed. Some nice force fields going down as well. He is just eliminating so much of DRG's army. Maybe a bit of an overcommittal, but DRG's macro on point on these 4 bases, remaxing out immediately. Thing is, how many units is he going to lose before he gets home?
Well, he's back on creep now. He should be okay. Lost a few roaches at the back. He didn't lose that many hydras, so there